Welcome. Welcome. I'm so glad that you could join me tonight. Let me go ahead and stop my screen share so we can all be together. Perfect. Perfect. So, welcome to Probiotics Explained. And thanks for joining me. And in case we have never met, I'm Deborah Loader. I'm a certified health and wellness coach. My specialty is transformational coaching. While I work with women on many different life areas, I always look at health. If you feel healthy and vibrant, anything else in your life is possible. I work with professional women who are exhausted from trying to do it all well, right? And I help them uncover or discover their superpowers so they can create the life that they truly desire. Today, we're going to look at one of the health superpowers, which is probiotics. If you're not sure if probiotics are something that you need, or you don't know which ones are right for you, or you're just looking for another tidbit of information about probiotics, then you are definitely in the right place. So whether you're joining me live or watching the replay, let me know if you have any questions. So let's get started. What are probiotics anyway? Our bodies contain trillions of microorganisms. In fact, some scientists estimate that bacteria cells outnumber human cells by 10 to 1. Now, while that sounds kind of scary, you should know that many of these microorganisms help our bodies function properly. Bacteria help break down food. They destroy disease-causing microorganisms, and they produce vitamins. Now, many of the microorganisms in probiotic supplements are similar to the microorganisms that naturally exist in our bodies. And they're sold as supplements in pill form. They can be used topically in skin cream, and they also exist naturally in food. So there's a lot to know about probiotics, and we're about to break it all down. But first, here is a short history on probiotics. Nobel laureate Elie Michnikov introduced the concept of probiotics in the early 20th century. Known as the father of probiotics, he was the first to propose that consuming beneficial microorganisms could actually improve people's health. And of course, research continued to investigate this idea, and the term probiotics eventually came into use. Now, probiotics contain a variety of microorganisms, but the most common ones belong to groups called Lactobacillus and Bifidobacterium. I have a hard time saying some of these words. Now, each one of these groups include many types of bacteria. So how do probiotics work? Now, probiotics have a variety of effects on the body and can affect different people differently. However, there are some of the ways that the probiotics might work by maintaining a more desirable and balanced community of microorganisms, or by stabilizing the digestive tract's barriers against undesirable microorganisms or produce substances that inhibit their growth, and outcompete undesirable microorganisms. Now, some people question, are probiotics safe? In generally healthy individuals, probiotics have a good safety record, and side effects, if they occur at all, usually consist of mild digestive symptoms. However, if you have an underlying medical problem or have, had recently had surgery or you have a weakened immune system, definitely you should check with your health practitioner before beginning a probiotic regimen. Anytime that you're going to add anything, whether it's exercise or supplements or changing your diet, it's always good to check with your healthcare practitioner. So we're going to go through a list of things that probiotics can help with. The first one is probiotics for diarrhea. A large meta-analysis or review of 35 studies found that certain strains of probiotics can reduce the duration of infectious diarrhea by an average of 25 hours. Now, 25 hours might not sound like a lot, but when you're in the middle of a bout of infectious diarrhea, 25 hours is a long time. So that's great to reduce it by 25 hours. So it was also found that probiotics reduced the risk of travelers' diarrhea by 8% and lowered the risk of diarrhea from other causes by 57% in children and 26% in adults. What about probiotics for mental health? An increasing number of studies link gut health to mood and mental health. Now, both human and animal studies have shown that probiotic supplements can improve mental health disorders such as anxiety, depression, autism, obsessive compulsive disorder, and others. So number 3, what about for allergies? Some research has found that certain probiotic strains may reduce the severity of eczema in children and infants. One study found that the children of women who took probiotics during their pregnancy had an 83% lower risk of developing eczema in the first 2 years of their life. Number 4, what about the immune system? Because probiotics can inhibit the growth of harmful bacteria, it may also help give your immune system a boost. An extensive review found that taking probiotics reduces the likelihood and duration of respiratory infections. And another found that children taking the lactobacillus GG, I'm not exactly sure what the GG is for, but that particular strain reduced the frequency and severity of respiratory infections by 17%. And that was in kids. So what about for weight loss? Taking probiotics might help with weight loss through a number of different mechanisms. Now, some probiotics prevent the absorption of dietary fat in the intestine and excreting it rather than storing it in the body. Some can help you feel fuller longer, resulting in more calories burned and less fat stored. One study, dieting women who took Lactobacillus rhamnosus for 3 months lost 50% more weight than the women who didn't take a probiotic. And another study found it was a study of 200 people, found that taking even low doses of the Lactobacillus gastriae for 12 weeks resulted in 8.5% reduction in belly fat. So take note that not all probiotics aid in weight loss, because some studies found that certain probiotics, such as Lactobacillus acidophilus, can actually lead to weight gain. So enough of all the words that of all the different bacterias. So now we've touched on probiotics now, but have you heard about prebiotics? And the most straightforward way to describe prebiotics is as fiber. However, a more accurate description is that they're a non-digestive fiber, meaning it isn't broken down by the gut. Instead, it passes to the colon where it's fermented to feed gut microflora. In other words, prebiotics are a food source for beneficial bacteria that probiotics bring to the table and can help them survive and thrive in the gut microbiome. So how do we get probiotics, right? So we can drink our probiotics. Now these days, kombucha is everywhere, right? And this is a popular drink that's made from black or green tea that's been fermented by a friendly colony of bacteria and yeast. So have you ever tried kombucha? Now my favorite, well, I actually have several favorites, but I love ginger. I also love hibiscus. And don't forget the lavender. Now, if you can find hibiscus and lavender together in one kombucha, that's wonderful. I love that. Well, you can also eat your probiotics. So yogurt is one of the best forms of probiotics, as the process of making yogurt consists of fermenting milk with friendly bacteria. Now, when choosing a yogurt, look for those long Greek names of live cultures listed as ingredients. Also, make sure that you choose a yogurt that's really low in sugar. Closely related to yogurt is kefir. That's a fermented probiotic drink that contains both friendly bacteria and yeast. And better yet, if you're lactose intolerant, you could probably still handle kefir. So go ahead and give it a try. And just here's a little fun fact. The word kefir allegedly comes from the Turkish word keyif. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, keyif, which means feeling good after eating. So another way you could eat your probiotics is sauerkraut and kimchi. Fermented cabbage has been eaten for centuries all over the world, and for good reason. Both sauerkraut and kimchi can bring tons of health benefits. Now, sauerkraut, a European staple, is probiotic rich in fiber as well as vitamins C, B, and K. And additionally, it contains iron and manganese and antioxidants like lutein, tons of things in the sauerkraut. Now, kimchi, which is sauerkraut's cousin from the East, it's a spicy Korean side dish, or they use it as a condiment. And it's made with a mix of seasonings such as red chili powder, or red chili pepper, garlic, ginger, scallion, salt, and it contains the lactic acid bacteria Lactobacillus kimchi, as well as other lactic acid bacteria that can benefit your digestive health. Or another one is, have you ever tried tempeh? And that is a fermented soybean product that's formed into a patty, and it's used worldwide as a high protein meat supplement. Now, through the fermentation process, the soybeans are broken down to lower the amount of phytic acid, which is a compound that impairs the absorption of minerals like iron and zinc. And it also provides the body with probiotics as well as B12. Another way to eat your probiotics is that you're likely familiar with miso soup, right? Have you ever had that? But did you know that it contains probiotics, protein, and fiber, as well as vitamins, minerals, plant compounds such as vitamin K and manganese and copper? Now, in Japan, miso soup is typically consumed at breakfast time. I didn't realize that. I've had it for dinner, with it at dinner time, but I didn't realize that they had it usually at breakfast. So if you want to incorporate some of that into your diet, buy it as a paste, and you can create a broth that you can sip. Probiotics and antibiotics. Now, you've likely been prescribed antibiotics to treat bacterial infections, like strep throat or an open wound. Now, while antibiotics play an essential role in treating severe diseases, they also come with adverse side effects. Antibiotics kill all the bacteria in your body, beneficial and harmful. And this includes the microbes that are helping your body operate. And how do they do this? Because in addition to killing disease-causing bacteria, antibiotics can destroy the healthy bacteria too, which drastically affects the amount and types of bacteria. In fact, only 1 week of antibiotics can change the makeup of the gut microbiota for up to a year. So take a probiotic during and after an antibiotic dose to help restore some of the healthy bacteria that's been destroyed. Just remember that probiotics are bacteria too, so they can be killed by the antibiotics if they're taken together. So therefore, take antibiotics and probiotics at least a few hours apart. Now, when it comes to your gut, it's personal, right? Everyone's gut microbiome is unique, which means that some of the effects that probiotics have on one person may not present the same way in another. Now, based on the balance of bacteria in your gut, you might react differently to foods like kimchi and kombucha. You may not feel results after your first bottle of probiotics. Keep in mind that most of what we discussed today are not steadfast rules that apply to every person. Your journey to better health and a more balanced gut is personal to you. So how do you pick the right probiotic? Now, when you decide to pick out a probiotic, picking the right one can make a world of difference. So keep these tips in mind as you're standing in your local health store. Always choose a probiotic with at least 10 billion live organisms per dosage. 10 billion live organisms per dosage. Now keep in mind that the probiotic should ensure in writing that you'll continue to receive this number throughout the shelf life of the product. That's really important. And look for probiotics with a wide array of different bacteria. The most excellent products can contain up to 14 different strains. So one last tip. Take your probiotics first thing in the morning when your stomach acid levels are lower. Take them on an empty stomach. So we have covered a lot of material today. So is there anything that we didn't cover that you're curious about? If so, you can share that in the chat, or you can message me if you're watching this on the replay. A ton of resources were used to put this presentation together. And if you're interested in any of those resources, go ahead and let me know, and I will email you the links. There's Harvard studies, there's healthline.com studies, there's Mind Body Green, how to get your probiotic to actually work from that article. So if you want any of those or all the links, just let me know and I'll send the entire list to you. So thanks so much for taking the time out of your busy day to join me and find out about probiotics. I'd love to chat more with you, and even just having this time, this was fun. And I hope that each of you got some useful information out of our time together. So if any additional questions come up after this class is over, feel free to email me or give me a call. And let me put up a slide. Let me share my screen and put up a slide with my contact information so that you can have that handy. There we go. So there's my website, there's my phone number, there's my Facebook page, my Facebook group. Any of those ways you can reach me. I am here to support you. If you have any questions, whether it's about, probiotics or other health and wellness topics, please let's chat. So there's a lot of information out there, lots of ideas, lots of possibilities. So let's focus on what it is that you want, what's right for you. So thank you very much for joining me. Let me stop my screen share. Awesome. So thank you again. Until next time, I invite you to live well.